So let's continue this conversation by opening questions to the floor. You may also write them down in the forms provided. But let me start with just a few of my own. So as all of you've come from the corporate world before starting your own business, how do you think that background has helped you in setting up your companies? Feel free to jump in, anyone.
I like to cite my experience with Procter Gamble. P&G, as all of you know, it's one of the best marketing companies in the world, and they really emphasize a lot on employee training, both on the job and classroom training. And I think at least twice a month we would go into a classroom, 20 of us, and then they will invite guest speaker or internal employee to give us training on copy, TV advertising, management, leadership skills, performance appraisal. So I really, I still adapt this. I still adapt this type of employee training to my team. So once a month I'll give them, kind of training, academic training over lunch.
Is it so different from having your own business? Or do you miss the corporate world? What do you think? Angela?
I always think the world moves on. Things keeps going. Mm-hmm. And so long as you do everything to the best of your ability at the time, mm-hmm. you don't have to look back. And whatever you've done, experience that you have gained, could help you as you move on. Mm-hmm. So, whether I miss what I've been doing.
Can you tell us about what kind of learning curve did you have to go through in setting up your business? Any particular experiences that stands out in your mind that's made you think, what was the learning curve like setting up your...
Well, I think the first difference is that as an entrepreneur, as a boss, you are the one who should have all the answers. That's actually something that is very frightening. You are responsible, you are in charge for your employee, you are in charge for your business. And not taking my biggest learning curve is actually that not taking a decision can be an awful decision for your company. So you need to think through everything to make sure that you're not missing something on the way.
So what made you decide to take the plunge? Obviously, there's the freedom and flexibility of being your own boss, but also starting up a business comes with huge risks and responsibilities. So what was it that made you think, I'm going to go for this? Esther?
I guess, just like I mentioned earlier, I always have that entrepreneurial edge. I always want to be my own boss, build my own team, motivate people, and I always like mentoring people. So actually, now I have more than 35 mentees from DGS, Columbia, Berkeley, the Women's Foundation's Honor Club. So I guess I always like to train people and build something on my own. Mm-hmm. So I guess, that's the drive in me.
When I was practicing as a lawyer, I used to think, as a lawyer, you sell your time. You really have to work hard. Even as a partner, as a boss, you still have to work and work hard. So I was thinking, if I were to develop a product and sell the product, then the product would be making me money. I don't have to be doing the servicing myself. But now that I'm in it, I realize that, of course, if you have developed the product, you've traveled some distance. But again, as I said, the world moves on. So you can't just stop at one product. You have to keep improving to catch up with the rest of the world and to be staying ahead. So it's, service versus product. But in any event, it's a competitive world, it's business, so a lot of the factors are in common. Anyway, whatever it is, you have to work very hard.
Yes. Do we have any questions on the floor right now for our speakers here? There's a mic coming there.
Thank you. A quick question for Carol. Angela. I know Carol Lee in Vancouver, and she's in exactly the same business as you are. But Angela, you're in a very competitive business. You say ethical skincare, nature at its best. There are hundreds of companies in Hong Kong that say that. Why did you choose that? And secondly, to what extent are you actually researching and developing your products here in Hong Kong? Can you say a word about that?
Okay. The second question first. The R&D is all done in Hong Kong, although the experts that we hire are from different parts of the world, US, Canada, Taiwan, Hong Kong. That's the second question. The first question, certainly it is a very, very competitive business, and lots of products now use natural ingredients. Of course, the technology part of it is more challenging, but it's not so visible. The technology part is the skin penetration, because otherwise, as I said, I could put egg white on my face, I could put chicken soup. They are good stuff, but, the reason why I thought I really have to have an R&D team and do something more, because as I was, age was catching up, I realized that just putting the chicken soup, the egg white on my face was not enough. I saw myself slowly wilting. So, but now with my products, with this penetration technology, the ingredients, the nutrients go deeper into your skin. And of course, how you blend the products, blend the ingredients, also is an art and a science. So certainly it's very, very competitive. But, in Hong Kong, I'm sure there are other people ahead of me or in front of me who have imported products or done their products, but camouflaging them as French products or Swiss products. But I insist on doing the first Hong Kong international skincare brand. It is difficult, but in fact, it's helpful too. I have disadvantages and advantages. Certainly, people thought I was very brave to be the first, to actually admit that we are a Hong Kong brand. But after the initial hurdles, when people realize that our products indeed are good, then we are unique, because then we become the only real Hong Kong international brand. And because of that, for the time being, for example, we've been accepted by the CCTV in China. They will be distributing our products, but helping to drive, the brand with their channel. So just because we are the first Hong Kong international brand.
Now there's a question here from someone from Brampton, Canada, and this question's for any one of you. It says, what's your advice to all SMEs? What is the one big personal success factor for women? Maybe along those lines, my question too is, do you think there's something in Hong Kong, are there any advantages that Hong Kong offers to help women entrepreneurs thrive in their business here? Anyone care to take that on?
Okay, I'll take this one. Invest Hong Kong is definitely the first one. Invest Hong Kong is an amazing organization. I don't know if it exists anywhere else in the world, but they have been amazing with us. And then about the woman side, of course, I think we are all here mothers. I'm personally mother of 2 kids. One is actually only 6 months. And having a lot of help at home is a major factor for women to be able to succeed. And I think the last thing is that at the moment, the state of mind in a lot of other countries in the world is very negative. People think that the good times were actually behind them. And what I love about Hong Kong is the energy, the fact that here we still believe that the good times are coming. And for an entrepreneur, that's the most important.
Esther, do you think there are any particular unique qualities about Hong Kong that Hong Kong offers to help female entrepreneurs thrive?
Yeah, to add on to Ariane's comment is, other than Invest Hong Kong, there are also a lot of women support groups such as the Zonta Club, there's a Bohemia Entrepreneur Association, there's the Women's Foundation. They are all here to give advice and to help startups, women who really want to build their own businesses. They have mentoring programs, they have consultancies who can help out. And even, social media is really, growing so fast here. There are a lot of support groups. I know, for myself, there are a lot of French support groups here in town. There must be a lot of international support groups and network for women who want to, come out on their own, to seek advice, how to strive work-life balance. So, it's
on that note, yes, how the work-life balance, that's always the perennial question for working women. How do you, or are you achieving this in your business, work-life balance? I assume all three of you have children, is that correct? How do you strive to achieve that? Angela?
I always do a full day's work. I, agree that my husband will both work hard during the weekdays, but weekends, we try very hard to put everything down and be together. For children, I knew that I would not be like the tiger moms, that are around in town. So I send my children to international schools because I realized that, if I can't really coach them, spend a lot of time coaching them, working with them on their homework at home, then they may not be as good as the rest of their classmates, and then they would have suffer from inferiority complex. So I thought for international school it would be more relaxed and they could be more, on their own.
I guess the beauty of running our businesses is the flexibility it can offer. My two girls go to local school, unlike Angela's kids, but I'm not a tiger mom. I delegate. I empower them. So my typical work day would be wake up at 6:30, take my elder daughter to school, and then rush back to take my younger daughter to kindergarten, and then go to the gym to work out, have a client's meeting, and then have lunch, and then pick up the two girls respectively, and then do a PR event, and then go into the office, do some paperwork, and then, tutor the girls until 10, and after they sleep, I work until 2. So the only sacrifice is sleep.
Isn't that true? Right, there's a question here from someone in the audience from Victoria, Australia, and it's directed at all three speakers. It says, on a per capita basis, there appears to be vastly more successful Chinese businesswomen than Western businesswomen. Can we have your opinion on why this may be? Do we agree with this?
I certainly think what Ariane mentioned, being able to have help at home is a big, big factor.
But do you think, do you agree with this notion that Chinese business women are adept at this, starting their own business? Or, well, Ariane, I think you're proving them wrong, actually, or you're bucking the trend.
Honestly, I don't know about that. What I really think is actually when you create your business, and that I think that's why also you've been very strong, is to think what is your edge, who you are. Of course, it's very important to look at the competition and who is out there, but at some point you need to forget and think where you're going to make the difference and keep this idea, even if sometimes it's not obvious to everyone, because that's at the end what is going to give results. Finding something different, finding a different product, a different offer for the customer.
I guess we cannot stereotype, Asian women versus non-Asian women, but I think overall women are more adaptable. They are multitasker. Right? So you just have to set your priorities. I myself, I'm a late bloomer because I intentionally wanted to, build the business when it's all cruise control. Then I started my family. And I guess, for some entrepreneurs, maybe they want to get, the family over with and then start their own business. I guess it's a matter of prioritization. But women, I guess, we are born to be multitaskers.
I think I tend to agree with that. Now, one question I do have is, now all your businesses are related to lifestyle products and services. So setting up your business in brand-conscious Hong Kong and even, more recently China, do you think how has this been key to the success of your business?
I can answer that. Well, my customers base, the biggest part of my customers are from Hong Kong, actually. And in that sense, we are a little bit of an exception because a lot of retailers in Hong Kong today, they target the mainland Chinese customers. We are happy, any working customer is welcome, but the first priority for us are the Hong Kong women. And the reason is that they are very sophisticated, very educated, and always looking for new things. And that's where we really are happy to provide new things, new products, new brand, new ideas, a new way of seeing retail. And that's very specific to Hong Kong, this love of new ideas.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Esther? I mean, your agency, especially, it's a boutique agency. That's how you've positioned yourself. The importance of brand and how has that really helped your business thrive?
Right. Of course, BNG taught me all I wanted to learn about brand building and the, conventional marketing. But I think for every business, PR and marketing, they're very critical. I mean, it's how you promote your products, how you promote yourself, how you market your philosophy. And I think for my company, it's important because there are, flourishing, lots of boutique PR firms being established over the past 10 years, other than the, conventional, the big threes. So we really have to carve out a niche for ourselves. So I believe our competitive edge is our sincerity, our creativity, also our media relations, because a lot of our new clients, honestly, they come from media referral. And lastly is the network. It's very important to network, especially in Hong Kong. The more people you know, the more advantageous you become.
Any other questions on the floor? One thing, Angela, is you had mentioned that you are actually targeting the China market. Do you think being a Hong Kong brand, has that helped you? Has that made it easier to enter the China market? And what sort of inroads have you made there so far?
In fact, it's fortunate that the mainland Chinese see Hong Kong as a good base. They see products coming from Hong Kong as being superior, rather than, if you are just in Hong Kong, then people look for products from overseas. So from that angle, we are fortunate. In China, coming from Hong Kong, we are already regarded as being superior. And then our advantage over foreign brands for China is because of there is CIPA, so we don't have to pay any customs duty. So therefore, we don't have to mark up our products by too big a margin going into the mainland market. So of course, it's still competitive, but because there is a border between Hong Kong and the mainland, so that border has kept out quite a lot of foreign brands, whereas in Hong Kong, the entire world is assembled here. So it's a very, very small but very, very congested market. Whereas in China, it's a much bigger market, but because of the border, it's more difficult for a lot of other brands to go inside. They have to go through a long process in applying, getting the hygiene permits and so on, and a lot of people haven't got it yet. So therefore, it's still, has kept a lot of brands out, whereas we have already got 13 of our products with hygiene permits. So because of that, we are finding it much easier finding our way around in the Chinese market, in the mainland market.
Any other questions? There's one more.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Pius from Victoria Chapter, Australia. My question is to any one of our three guests. All three businesses seem to be very capital intensive to start up, but for a lot of entrepreneurs, they have a preference to have to start with as low capital as possible, and hopefully the branding and the customer base and your reputation will come. Do you think in today's world, is it still possible to have a low-cost startup that is a non-IT company? Thank you.
The question in this, is it possible to have a low-cost startup?
I believe my business is less capital intensive because after all, it's a service business. I started off by borrowing my friend's, a room from my friend's office to start up my company, and then I built my team. And a lot of times, it's talking to the clients, providing the service. Sometimes you can rent a business center, a room in the business center, and then build your business, build the reputation, and then start growing from there. So I believe, capital-wise, it's only the equipment and the computer, phones for myself, because I don't have a lot of, inventory and R&D like Ariane and Angela.
Ariane, how did you find the startup costs here? You have outlets in IFC and Lee Gardens.
I'm in retail. I believe, when I opened my first shop, I didn't really know the market, so I asked a lot of questions. As anywhere in the world, in retail, the secret is location, location, location. So I knew who I wanted my customers to be, so I had to invest in the location. There is no secret on that. But then at the end of the day, you do your financials. As an entrepreneur, I don't think at the beginning you know how much you can make, but I think you know how much you need to make to cover your cost. So after you look at, I'm an ex-banker, so you look at the numbers and you think, okay, is it possible or not? One thing also I would like to highlight is it's not only this that you need to take into account, but it's your personal situation. Because, of course, as an entrepreneur, you need to invest in your company, and if you need your family situation to allow you to do that. So we did the math personally and more professionally, and it worked.
Good. More questions? Oh, one more.
Hello. Yes, I have one question, Angela Lee, that you are specialist for the cosmetic items, right? Manufacturing. I would like to know that healthcare is the most important, or the skin care is most important. I would like to learn about this matter. Can you kindly explain about these things?
Well, to me, both health and beauty are important. In fact, my personal view is that beauty should be the ultimate of being healthy. That's the best, because if looking good is just from makeup, that's not real beauty. So that's why I hope my answer to your question is acceptable, which is health care is important, certainly, but why is it that women focus on the face? Because, I always say that because your entire body, for your face, your skin is the biggest organ in the body. So it has to fight with the rest of the body, the other organs, for nutrients. So if you really want to look good, you make sure that your face receives an appropriate amount of nutrients to be looking good. So I hope you accept this response, saying that actually health and beauty it's a holistic concept, shouldn't be completely isolated.
Thank you very much. And I understand the Chinese skin is a beautiful skin, okay, compared with the other countries' skin, okay?
Let's hope so.
All right, any more questions before we wrap up this panel? All right then. Well, thank you very much to our three guests for joining us.